Hello and welcome back to Property Perspective, where we break down the complex world of lettings to help landlords make informed decisions. I'm Josh.
And I'm Michelle. Today we'll talk about something every landlord is legally required to do, but still many find it confusing, and that is right to rent checks.
I'd say these checks are a legal obligation, but they're also a potential legal minefield if not handled correctly. Not only are there strict rules about how and when to do them, but there are also important guidelines around how to do them fairly.
That's right, you must carry out a right to rent check on every adult who will be living in the property, regardless of their nationality, their background or even appearance. It is illegal to check only people who look and sound different. That's discrimination, and it can lead to serious consequences for landlords.
That's it, so even if someone speaks with a local accent and has lived in Lancaster their whole life, you still need to carry out the same check as you would for anyone else. Consistency is key, both for compliance and for fairness.
And with the rules changing and digital systems now in place, there's a lot more to get your head around than there used to be. So Josh, can we break it down? Well, I'll go first. You need to carry out checks on every adult who will be living in the property, even if they're not named on the tenancy agreement, and this must be done before the tenancy begins.
That's it. Traditionally, that meant meeting the tenant in person, reviewing original documents like passports, visas, biometric residence cards, and taking and storing copies with the date noted the check was done. And that process does still apply in many cases.
But the rules have also recently changed, and there are now digital options available for many tenants, which in theory can make things easier, but also more confusing.
That's it. For example, tenants who hold a biometric residence permit or settled status can now use a UKVI share code. You enter that code on the government's website and it confirms the right to rent digitally.
Excuse me. There are also certified identity service providers known as IDVTs, can't get my words out, that can verify British and Irish citizens using digital ID checks, provided of course they have a valid passport. These services are designed to reduce in-person contact and of course speed up the process.
So they started with COVID. It was part of the COVID rules that came in and helped push this forward. So
5 years ago.
Exactly, ridiculous. So, but this is the important thing. Knowing when to use a physical check, a UKVI share code or an IDVT service isn't always clear cut. The rules vary depending on the tenant's immigration status, what documents they hold. I have a whole Bible that I look at every time I need to check this just to try and understand it.
Wow. And of course, if a tenant has time-limited permission to stay in the UK, you're still responsible for conducting follow-up checks at the appropriate time. And this is regardless of how the original check was even done.
Exactly, and that's where landlords often slip up. Miss that follow-up and you could be liable for civil penalties of up to £3,000 per tenant, or worse, face prosecution for knowingly renting to someone who doesn't have the right to live in the UK.
Wow. So that's why this process can be daunting for so many landlords who manage properties themselves. You've got to be organised, up to date with immigration rules, and prepared to act fast if a tenant status is about to change.
That's it. At JDG, we handle all of this on behalf of our landlords. We conduct right to rent checks properly at the start of every tenancy, regardless of if it's managed or not. We securely store the documentation and monitor the follow-up dates where needed for our managed landlords.
And of course, that means peace of mind for you and full compliance with the law that's constantly evolving. We keep on top of all the legal changes so you don't have to.
And let's face it, if you're letting a property as a side investment or alongside a busy job, the last thing you need is a knock on the door from the Home Office. Compliance people, because obviously you missed a follow-up check or something like that.
Ouch. So whether you're managing one property or have a whole portfolio, having a professional agent means fewer headaches and of course lower risk and that better protection.
That's it. Right to rent checks might just seem like another bit of admin, but get it wrong and it can cost you dearly.
So if you're unsure whether your current checks are compliant, or if you just want someone to kind of take the hassle off your plate, don't forget, here at JDG, we're here to help.
Thanks so much for watching Property Perspective with us again, and for more landlord advice and updates, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time.